All right, you guys, let's just get right to the business. All right. So we all know about what's going on in Afghanistan right now, as the Taliban has taken over the country for all intents and purposes. You had the president flee. You had people trying to get on C-17s to get to safety to wherever, whether it be embassies in different parts of the world. And there's a report that came up about Afghanistan individuals descended upon Washington, D.C. You heard right. You had Afghans descend upon Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, this is why I don't care about what's going on in Afghanistan, right? Because we got more important issues here to account for at home, right? So we're trying to find refuge for the people in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, we have this. And of course, they had to put up the picture of a black family. This is why I don't care about what's going on in Afghanistan. Now, despite an eviction moratorium that's been put in place and has been extended up until September 30th, you still have districts, you still have courts, you still have counties around the different parts of America still kicking people out their homes. So we're supposed to ignore this family here, right? We're supposed to ignore this family that we don't know where they're at, what they're doing, how they're surviving, right? But we're supposed to show solidarity to people in Afghanistan because a rabid terrorist group has taken over the country, right? Inside courtroom 8A of the Las Vegas Justice Court, the benches were packed with renters and landlords battling over evictions that continued at a brisk pace despite a last-minute 2-month extension of the federal protections meant to keep people in their homes. Vanessa Merriman, 41, was among the tenants ordered to leave her apartment. Right? She'd never been homeless in her life. Through tears, slouched on a metal couch bench outside the courtroom as the scorching Las Vegas heat sun beat through the windows. She was shell-shocked that the court session upended her life lasted all of 15 minutes. Now, the federal moratorium on evictions, combined with billions of dollars in rent subsidies, was supposed to avert the scenario of millions of Americans being turned out of their homes after losing their jobs during the course of the pandemic. Right? So this is the part where what they don't tell you, right? See, the New York Times put this in the article, right? But this is what they left out, whether it be conveniently or inconveniently, but nevertheless, it was left out, right? This is what they left out. They left out the part where you, as a renter, have to go to apply for these the subsidies, right? So you have to apply for these subsidies, but if you make over a certain amount of money, they're not going to give it to you. See, that's the part they left out. They don't care that you lost your job 4 or 5 months ago and you just recently got this job making this kind of money, but you still got to recover from the lost wages from the 5 months you was unemployed. They don't take that into account. So yes, there were billions of dollars in place for people who need money to go get it, but the problem was it was difficult to get it. This is where the Democratic Party dropped the ball, right? Because I'm gonna hold their feet to the fire. They're the ones that's in control. They're the ones that got the power right now, right? And you Republicans out there, don't get me wrong. You guys are just as complicit and guilty too. You guys are a bunch of white supremacists too. So, right? So even if you landed a job and you still needed money to help you through this financial burden, you were so unlikely to get it if they saw that you quote unquote made too much money. So for all intents and purposes, they were pocket watching. They don't care that you got child support. They don't care that you got car notes. They don't care about none of that. And extending the moratorium, the Biden administration hinged into local COVID infection rates um, being high, the idea being that the protection was warranted in areas where the virus was surging. Clark County, including Las Vegas, was among hundreds of counties that met the criteria for high infection rates. But the CDC prevention guidelines gave some leeway to judges instead apply laws which at times allowed for evictions. For many tenants, it was too late anyway, with state moratoriums expiring and the expectation that federal guidelines would be gone soon. Court dockets, like in Las Vegas, overflowed with eviction cases. Tenants had to actively file for protection under the CDC measures, but many of them were unaware of that. And as eviction proceedings rolled forward, some landlords won, citing reasons other than non-payment of rents for seeking to remove tenants. Now, more than 1.4 million Americans expect to be evicted within the next 2 months, according to a survey completed by the U.S. Census Bureau in early July. For 2.2 million people, the prospect is somewhat likely. So states that's been hardest hit, right, has been California, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Texas, right, where, the infamous and illustrious, distinguished, honorable jackass, and what's that motherfucker's name? That punk motherfucking bitch. Oh, Greg Abbott, that's his name, right? Along with other states across the South, including Florida, where Ron DeSantis lives at, Georgia, where Brian Kemp's the governor, and South Carolina is Henry McMaster's. Now, if you notice, right, these states right here, California has a Democratic governor. New York has a Democratic governor, right? No matter if not Chris Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo steps aside, the lieutenant governor is a Democrat. But Texas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, all them southern states all have Republican governors, right? All that was trying to get people to go back to school, all that was trying to push back against mass mandates and vaccine getting and other stuff, right? What's up, Jacoby Rose Salute? Right? Exactly. This is true. This is true talk. This is a true statement right here, man. How do you stop people from going to work but keep the bills coming in? Because the bills ain't gonna stop coming in, right? Now, this ain't the only thing that's been going on, right? I mean, you got cops continuing to shoot black people as they're running away, killing black people, and continue to get away with it, right? But you want me to stop Asian hate when all kinds of hate was directed towards black people. But you want black people to be at the forefront of showing solidarity and being sympathetic and being caring and sharing to what's going on in Afghanistan. Get the fuck out of here. You will not get me to believe that. right? You will not get me to show any kind of solidarity towards anybody who's been complicit, has been accepting of the oppression of black people. So no, I don't care about what's going on in Afghanistan. As far as I'm concerned, that motherfucker can burn, and it won't stop me from going to work. It won't stop me from taking care of my family. It won't stop me from having these bills to come in and having to pay these bills. Let's just be honest about this, y'all. Look, once I clean up my side of the street, once my house is in order, then I can worry about other people's house. But I'm not here and try to wag my finger, calling myself wagging my finger at other people and all that. And when we got issues here that needs to be addressed. So no, I don't care about what's going on in Afghanistan. Right? Do the people in Afghanistan care about what's going on in the black community? Right? Do they care about what's going on in the black community? Hell, when 9/11 happened, you had some of these motherfuckers celebrating. The same group that was out there taking over that's taking over that country right now was the same group that plotted against the United States in 2001. And next month will be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Now, there's been word out that there is some kind of plot against the United States on that very specific day. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that here. You're going to have to subscribe to the Patreon if you want more detail about that. Right? And I'll put that out on the Patreon. But why should I care about what's going on in Afghanistan? Why should you care about what's going on in Afghanistan? Right? I'm just keeping it 100. Why should you care? When you got stuff here that needs to be taken care of, right? See, the one thing we in the black community cannot afford to do is take our eye off the ball. And what is the ball? We all know what it is. We all know what it is. We all know. It's reparations. It's the worst kept secret in America, right? It's reparations, it's any qualified immunity, it's all this stuff that white supremacy uses to keep themselves in power. That's what we want to strip. That's what we want gone. We want our fucking money. I don't want nothing else from you. Just give me my reparations and I will decide what I do with my reparations. Let's just be honest, y'all. Why should I care about what's going on in Afghanistan? Let them figure it out. Hell, I'm here. I gotta figure it out. Why can't they? I'm not gonna reach my hand out to somebody that's gonna chop my hand off. Why? And you shouldn't either. Now, I put a link in the chat. You want to come in here and we're going to talk about this. This is what we're talking about right now. What's up, Tampa Supreme? Salute to you. Right? This your first time? Hit the subscribe, hit the smash the like, and I appreciate you for showing up and showing out in the building this afternoon. Now, remember a few months ago that the United States, right, in the midst of the pandemic, right? Shout out to 3,000 Degrees Dudes donations through the super chat, right? If you want to donate, I really do appreciate the contribution to the super chat, but I much rather prefer you hit the Cash App and the PayPal. But I definitely agree. I definitely salute 3,000 Degrees Dudes $20 donation through the super chat. But I really would prefer if you hit the Cash App and PayPal. All right. But salute to you once again, my brother. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Because YouTube will take 30%. That's why I prefer you hit the Cash App and PayPal, because YouTube will take a percentage if you go through the super chat. But nevertheless, I appreciate the donation anyways. Now let's get back to the business, right? Why should you care about what's going on in Afghanistan, right? Why? You should not care about what's going on in Afghanistan. If you're on the verge of getting kicked out of your house, if you're on the verge of being behind on your bills or whatever like that because you got fired from your job through no fault of your own, right? If you're worrying about how you're going to pay the bills next month, how you're going to put the food on the table for your kids and all that, then why should you care about what's going on in Afghanistan? Because if you talk to the general public, right? If you talk to the general public, most people do not care about what's going on in Afghanistan. The only time you should care about that is when these fools come stop around your town trying to take over. That's when you should care. But until then, you should not care about what's going on in Afghanistan. Now, having said all that, I'm not here to tell people what to do. Right? That's not my life. That's not my style. That's not my MO. It's not how I'm built. I'm not here to tell you what to do. What I am here to do, however, is to give you information. And what you do with that information is on you. But I'm here to tell you, if the side I'm on the side of the black community all the time, every day, 24/7, 365, until my last breath on God's green earth. They don't care about us. We should not care about them. Period. Now, this moratorium is intended to help states buy time to distribute the aid. Congress allocated some $47 billion in rental assistance, but just $3 billion had just been distributed by June, according to the Treasury Department. Many county governments, the branch usually designated to process applications, are straining the bill systems to scratch to distribute money, even when the tempo of evictions increases. Georgia had just paid out over $16 million from $889 million in federal rental assistance funds. Florida got $871 million, but only disbursed $23.2 million. 50 people in the county of Las Vegas are behind on rent and can face eviction in Clark County, where the state moratorium expired on June 1st. And they show another lady, right? She held back tears after she lost her eviction appeal. She was laid off from Walgreens and had been without a job for most of the pandemic. She has not paid the $250 weekly rent on her one-bedroom apartment since July 2020. She had managed to pay the $10,000 in rent from government subsidies here, but she lost her business, and her boyfriend's lengthy struggle with COVID interrupted her efforts to apply for more. It took her 4 months to reset her lost password for the website to apply for government payments. See, they are right here putting the rule, fuck the people, right? Despite federal moratoriums in place. But they don't care about federal moratoriums. All they care about is that almighty dollar. And with that, you have these sweeping cases of evictions, of people getting kicked out their homes and all that. Now, will there be some white people in the mix? Yes, there will be some white people in the mix, but the majority of these of the people that will be victimized by this statute will be black people. I'm just keeping this 100. So, yes, this thing has dominated the airwaves. Yes, I'm pretty sure there's people out there that struggling right now and trying to find them a place to live and trying to evade the Taliban and all that. Okay, got it. I hear you. I see you. I just don't want to do anything with that. I don't want nothing to do with that. And that's all I got to say about that. There's no need for me to continue to work how I work just to be able to survive. And yet, we want to sit up here and talk about what's going on in Afghanistan. No, I don't. No, I have no interest. I have absolutely no interest about what's going on in Afghanistan. So tell me what you guys think about this particular video. Once again, I'd like to thank 3000 Degrees for this donation to the super chat. Smash the like, hit the subscribe. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your boy. Scream at me. Hey!